President IIC, and all the faculty members and members of IIC and students. Very good morning to all of you. I'm Dr. Neha, and today I'm going to present in front of you a small discussion on uh, entrepreneurial opportunities, basically through innovation. Right. So, first of all, a brief thing I would like to share with all of you before I start my session. I'll just share my screen with all of you so that I hope it is visible to all.
Visible, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, according to NASSCOM, India ranks third in global startup ecosystem and 46th in global innovation index, which is really commendable, but there is still a lot where we are lacking behind. It's really a pleasure that we all are celebrating our 75th Azadi Ka Mahotsav, and India, being a developing country, is focusing a lot in developing a startup ecosystem under the guidance of our respected Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. So over here, we on this platform, we all are either academicians, research scholars, students, which really lend a major hand to innovation in any country. So we all play a major role where we can innovate something new, but we know how to innovate, but we rarely know how to commercialize it. And the knowledge of this leads to the entrepreneurial journey. So in this very session, I'm just going to discuss a pathway for the creation of these opportunities to have your own entrepreneurial journey through innovation, so that even the you can say academicians or research students or your some students can even start this journey apart from being employed. So there are chances that you can give employment to others. So I'm just going to start. So it's first what we require is innovation. So what exactly innovation is? Uh, Over here, you can see I have used two terms, innovation and invention. So very less people exactly understand the difference between innovation and invention. So just let me first clear about this thing. So when we say invention, invention means creation of a product or introduction of a process for the first time. So nothing has been created. If you're creating it for the very first time, that is invention. On the other hand, innovation, it occurs if someone improves on or makes a significant contribution to an existing product or process or a service. So if there is something already existing and you are simply improving it into it, that is innovation. So ideally people use it interchangeably, but there is a difference in this. So if we say what innovation is, it should be a novel. Novel is a new thing, non-obvious, and obviously useful. If these three things lies, then it is a innovation. When we have invented something, there is the next thing that we need to do is protect that invention, and we do protect that invention with the help of IPs. IP is filing a patent, basically. IP is intellectual property that you're creating. So if we talk from the university context, um, this is a process to transform intellectual resources. From university point of view, intellectual resources will be your thoughts, your ideas, your insights, whatever the research you are performing, and you need to preserve them, right? And this preservation process is IP, creating an IP only. Intellectual assets become intellectual property through legal protection. So there is a process to safeguard this your whatever the new thing you have created, and then for commercializing you need to technology transfer it. So exactly, technology transfer is the process of identifying, evaluating, and commercializing your IP. So once you are done with the innovation, you have filed your IP, you have got your IP, then there's the third step is the technology transfer, where you basically evaluate that whether it is commercializable or not.
Good morning.
So next, once you are done with this thing, now you know that whatever you have created new is something which can be commercialized. Now how then you add value into it, how actually it is marketable. You check it out. First of all, once you have the process and the in your mind and you have fixed something, you need to develop something. So whatever you have thought, whatever you have to develop it, and then demonstrate the reliability that you can rely on that particular thing. Basically, it is validating that whether the product is marketable, whether it is right or presentable or not. Now, then how to establish that invention once the product is ready? Now, the next step will be market it. You have to, because if you want to commercialize, only creating a product is not enough. You need to, these days you need to market enough to make it sellable, and it should be acceptable competition. There might be more competition into the market, so how your product is different from the other ones, and then is it willing to be licensed? Can you create a license for that or not? How do you validate your ideas? Now, whatever you ideate, you have to create a value for this. You need to focus on creating a market. Once your product is ready, market you have to get ready. Then many people think that if we share our idea, we'll lose everything. We will, but it's not always right. Once you have IP, you can always share your idea, because there's no harm in sharing. With sharing, you get more knowledge, and moreover, always think that whatever you are creating, whatever your idea is, it's your baby, and no one else can have that, right? So they might use it, but the way you have it, nobody else can have. So once you share it also, you have a critic's viewpoint also. So you may find many critics and you get their viewpoint, whether your idea is good, bad, or whatever. So it is a plus point. Then openness is always a good tool, and no need to be unique, but to be different. This is very important if you are thinking about innovation. Many of the students come to me and they ask, ma'am, we don't have a unique idea. We can't think about that thing. But who says you to be a very unique? Does not always need to be unique. If you are unique, that's very good. But if you are not that unique, you need to be different. So uniqueness is not always required, but you have to think it different. The different way you can, better way you can present a thing. So you can change the world or improve the world. So that is the main point. Either you have you with the ideas or something, you can change the world, or you you simply improve it. So if something is, for example, simple example I can give you for the change the world or improve the world, if you are confused into it, uh, Uber, you all know, we all are using Uber these days. So actually, it has not done nothing. It has not changed the world. It has basically improved the world. How come? We were already having this prepaid taxis and all that, right? But with the coming of Uber, we are more frequently using that. Being a girl, I was not that much open to use the cabs earlier, but with this app only, now I feel comfortable. So it has basically improved the world. So it's not something unique they have created. It was already in the market. Cab system was already there in the market, but they have presented it in a different way. So this is how your entrepreneurial journey starts. So you not be every time unique or you need to think out of the box. No, things lie only there in the market. You have to think it different. How you can make it better, right? So here I'm just in this image, I'm just showcasing few of the examples. Basically, these are the examples of what I can say is design, design thinking, or design patents, basically. So all these things which you can see, first is the pillar, then the water drainer, right, and then the two, three types of water drainers, bike stands, rollers. These already existed in market. There's nothing that which not existed. The all three images over here, 8 images over here, they already existed in the market, but you can see they have simply improved the way they can be used, right? And so it's only the design they have changed, which makes the thing more comfortable and more easy to use. So I just wanted to showcase you the difference. That's why I just added this slide. Now, so once we have now discussed that something new or we have created, we have wanted to change the world, we wanted to improve the world, and now we have wanted to commercialize it. The way we are thinking, we want to earn money out of it, right? So how to do that? We will be now focusing on then. Basically, what exactly is commercialization? It is an attempt to profit from innovation by incorporating new technologies into products, processes, and services and selling them in the marketplace. So you have something new. How to earn out of it? That is only commercialization. Sorry. So in this chart, you can simply see there are two different ways in which you commercialize. The one is through corporations, in which you have large on medium or small scale corporations. The other way is startups. That is, the most of the countries are focusing more upon it, and startups can be very well helped by business incubators or individual efforts. Just a brief overview what exactly business incubator is nothing but basically incubator is if I say, we all know incubator in a journal language is where the hens are being kept so that they can lay eggs, and then with the heat and all that they grow up. So is the thing in the business incubators. This is basically an environment where the new startups grow. They provide each and every help in forming a startup. A business incubator helps in that. So individual efforts, you are not connected to anything, and you are on your own creating your own startup. That is individual effort. Now, there are a few stages when we commercialize, right? These stages are not exactly that, these are things that need to be covered up when we commercialize. So, with the very first thing that we need to think is once we are entering the market, the very first thing that we need to focus is the source of capital. So, from where we are going to get the funds, right? So, over here, I just showcase few of the areas from which you can get the funds. The very first one is friends and family. So from within your family or friends, you can get the funds and you can start something. The next, the once you grow a bit, then you have angel investors and seed funds, which help you in growing, right? So they just simply they want equity and they'll help you out through funding. Then is the venture capital VCs that help you, but VCs come at the very later stage when you have already established your business and you want to expand. At that stage, when VCs come, then is the private equity and hedge funds, venture debt and banks, and public markets like initial stock. So these all are options open, and it's a complete, very big topic which can be taken later on, which it includes a lot many things for where you can source a capital. So in a nutshell, I will suggest if you are a startup, the very first thing from where you can source is your private equity, your friends or family, and then the next stage is the angel investors. All the other stages come later on, and they all have their own plus and minuses what you can use. So once you have sources your capital. Now, how does this thing grows? How your startup grows? So first is the seed. The seed is where you start going, where you from your own funds you start building your startup. Then is the early stage where your these banks or your loan equity funds come, and then startup mid stage where angel investors basically funds you, help you, and basically when you get a revenue of 1 CR, then only they enter. And then is the late stage or expansion stage where VCs enter, where your funding round A, B occurs, right? So these are the stages. At which stage are you at a seed? So once you start, you always say that we are a seed stage of our startup, right? We are at early stage of our startup. So these are start stages. Next, how do you counter your profitability? So for the profitability, there is a whole chart that once you have invented something, it's but obvious with the passage of time and years. Starting, you do with the proof of concept, you build the product, and then you enter the market. Up till now, you are only spending, and spending. Once you enter a market, you build up a market over here, and your product is so much reliable, you start growing from the market entry stage slowly and slowly. And then once it has reached the base level point, then then and upper stages, then your investors exit it. So it's not the thing is very important this thing that once people invest in your organization, it's not always they like they'll stay in that. If they are funding you, they will not stay forever. So there is a midpoint where they exit also, right? And then the other stage of investors come. So this is the whole flow where the funding sorry, the profitability raises. So starting is this expenditure only. Once you enter the market, your product is reliable, then you start growing and expanding. Right? A checklist. Once you enter the market, what exactly do you want? You need to see the potential market. You have competition from other technologies. What will be the cost and pricing of your product? Ability to capture market share or not? Your complementary assets, what exactly your assets are, like for example, I need a space and all that for my product, for manufacturing all that, and you already own a space, so that is a complementary asset if you already have a space for this thing. When we think from entrepreneur's perspective, the very first thing that our entrepreneur should think about is the customer focus. This is your main person for which you are creating. If you're creating something, if you're entering a market, your main focus should be your customer. It should not be what I like, I'll be building that. No, I should understand what my customer wants, and according to that only we need to develop. Then is the stakeholders. Now these stakeholders in your organization are, there are n number of stakeholders, right? That includes your customers also, that includes your investors, your partners, right? All these are the stakeholders. You need to be thinking about them also, whatever your team is. Exactly. So it's team building is very, very, very important in this whole stuff. The very important topic in this whole stuff is business planning, in which many people lack. So basically, you have to identify what are the business opportunities, scan the competition, put down your key services and products, whatever your key main focus services and products are. Meet your peers as businessmen, that what they exactly they are doing and how you are different, how you are creating a USP. Then you need to put together a business plan. Business plan is very important, where you basically plan everything. What will be your expenditure? How you will be going to earn? How will be developing? Find out funding avenues, and then what will be your team, which will you require a technical team or not? You require a manufacturing team, production team. So that you have to think. Plan your finances, how you're going to spend them. Now, building a team, very important. So who all will be your co-founders? Co-founders, it's not any restriction on that how many co-founders you can have. You can start with us all alone. You can have, ideally people prefer not more than 4 co-founders should be there, because there will be always a conflict in the thinking process. And if you're having more than one co-founder, there should be always, you will be having should be having complementary skills. That is always a plus point, where complementary skills are required. So you have a board of directors and advisors. So who all will be your directors and advisors? What will be your hiring process? Who all will you will be hiring, right? So these all will be your team. How to raise a fund? Again, I've told you it's a very big topic. So just a brief overview. Investors, who all will be investors? I've written triple F. Triple F is very, very, very important for any normal startup who wants to start. So triple F actually stands for friends, family, and fools. So I can either you can have funding from your friend, your family, or fools is like whomsoever you can make a fool and get money out of it. So these triple Fs makes a lot of difference. Then came the angel investors, and the last ones are the VCs, which come at the very latest. Bootstrapping. Bootstrapping, I'll just give you a brief overview what exactly bootstrapping is and Kickstarter is. Right. So this is a product life cycle, how it product lives. So you have sales and you have time. So once you introduce, with the passage of time, your sales increase. You grow, your sale increase. Once this product matures, once it's like it, it's always being the maturity point of a product, which matures, your sales keeps on declining, and you need to focus on the new strategies, how you can now come up with new ideas and build up. So I was talking about the Kickstarter and Bootstrap. Let's have an overview what exactly a Kickstarter is. Kickstarter is basically a website only. It's a crowdfunding website, and here people give you money to start a company, and it could be anything. You can be an artist or a filmmaker or a game developer to fund their project. So what I can do, if let's say I just want to start my own company and I don't have a fund, or I wanted to make a new film, maybe it will be a artistic film or something, and I don't have funds. So what I can do, there are a number of crowdfunding websites. So I can register over there. I can project my uh, this thing problem over there, and people who believes in my idea and wants to fund that, they can donate over, right? The project can be anything, game, product, album. So rewards are given to the market for this project. Okay. And what exactly is bootstrapping? Bootstrapping is when an entrepreneur starts a company with little capital, with its own capital, basically. Bootstrapping, when you start with your own capital, right? That is bootstrapping. So basically, many of the startups bootstrap actually. They don't want to get into debt. So if I'm having a simple idea which don't require that much of funds, it's always a good idea to bootstrap so that you don't have any burden. Neither is said to be bootstrapping when he or she attempts to find and build a company from personal finances or from the operating revenues of the new companies. Like, so I have started my company, I've started getting some money, and I'm just multiplying through it all. I'm not getting help from any other resource. That is bootstrap. So this is how a complete startup story is. So basically, a startup is with the help of business incubator or individual effort. So this is the product life cycle, and this is the investment curriculum. The product life cycle, new product, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. This is how the funding, seed fund, early stage, growth and later stage, exit or sustain. Right. I just wanted to mention one point very carefully over here is that people think that getting fund is everything. So everyone usually listening what they have got 1 CR of funding, they got 2 CR funding, $10 million company funding. Don't always focus on funding projects because funding, if you require, then only focus. Because with funding, there comes a lot of responsibilities. You become answerable to many. So if you require funds, then only focus on funding. Otherwise, just move on towards your startup. Right. So I'm just left with few many points, just a few points just to cover, and which is very important. I was talking about funding right now. So for funding, you always require a very good investor pitch, right? So what exactly a pitch is? Sometime other time, if I got a chance, I'll just show you what exactly a pitch is. So just giving an overview. Pitch is where you basically present your product, your idea in front of investors. So there is always a rule of three. A pitch could be a 3 minute pitch, a 30 minutes pitch, or 3 hours pitch. So it depends upon the funding stage at which you are, but you should be always ready with your pitch. A same pitch can be shown for 3 minutes, 30 minutes, and 3 hours also. Right? That totally depends what to whom you are presenting. In that pitch, you include everything. What your idea is, what is your business plan, how you're going to develop it, what is your team, how you're going to earn through it, everything that includes in that thing. But this is basically a presentation that you make in front of investors. Why do startups fail? These are the few reasons to the reason for the startup failure: cash flow, team issues, product, market, pricing. These basic areas which make a startup to fail. That you don't know how to manage the fund. There are always team issues that you don't know how to what your good the team is good or bad. Like you're not having a good team. Pricing very important. If you are not in the right pricing, your product will fail. And what are the secret to success? So if you want to success, timing. Timing is very important. If you're right on the time, at the just giving you a brief example, a small example for timing. WhatsApp existed 15 years back, but it got into boom just 5 to 7 years back only, right? So it is just the timing phase. At that 15 years back, it was not of the time of WhatsApp, but now it's the time of WhatsApp. So it's just you have to believe in your product and wait for the right time. Perseverance, hard work and smart work, adaptation, great team, have guts, and domain experience, personal reduced risk. Right. So if you can take risks, that you are successful. Incubators, I would like to omit this part because how they help it out with the role of these TBIs. I just wanted to cover it up, but I think that will be more for this particular uh, presentation because TBIs are very important and they play a very major role, so we can take it later. So I'll just ask, thank you very much. And if there is any question or something that you want.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. It was really good